Hi, this is Pastor Bob, and yes, things look a little different today. Welcome to my house here in Tennessee. This is my yard, the lake behind me, my ducks and geese on the pond. It's a little bit of paradise, isn't it? So I'm getting ready to travel, and I wanted to begin to experiment with a new format, and welcome to the new format. I'm just going to begin to shoot wherever I'm at, and I hope you'll kind of enjoy the variety as well. It's going to be fun. You know, every Sunday I meet with a bunch of people. We call it Pub and Grub with Pastor Bob, or Pastor Bub, as they say. And last night I shared some things from my heart that I wanted to share with you today as well, because it's still in my heart. You know, the Bible talks about that God gives us the desires of our hearts. And, you know, it's a part of God that we really misunderstand. We feel like God is telling us that there are some things that I decide what I want. I tell God what I think that He should do for me, and then He gives me those things in response. And honestly, that's not what it means. You know, our time should be spent more about finding out what desires God has put there, and less time with coming up with our own carnal desires that aren't good for us anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's important that you and I understand that when God created every single one of us, He put right inside of us the desires that He wants us to have. He created you with specific things that you're good at, talents that you have, spiritual gifts that He's given you. He created you, just you, with the kind of personality that you have to do specific things. So no one knows better than He does about what would make you the most happy and what your desires really ought to be. Now that's important. So when I begin to connect with God and when I begin to pray, I need to ask Him those questions. Lord, what are the desires that You've put there? What are the things, Lord, that You have for me that I need to be aware of? And when I connect with God's desires for me and they become my own, then some important things begin to happen. But I think we struggle with this, and we struggle with it for way too long. Our struggle usually is finding those desires in the first place. And really the balance between my desires and His desires, which can be a little confusing. But the more time that I spend with God, the more I understand just how He's created me, just how He loves me, and just how He goes about giving me desires. Now, we've talked about passion before in this podcast, and that's really a big part of it. To find out what your passions are, because your passions usually lead to your desires, those things that you really, want to do in your heart of hearts, those things that give you fulfillment in life. And so God gives you the desires that you and Him share. And you need to find out what they are. So in this respect, folks, prayer becomes a whole lot more about listening, about thinking, about analyzing, about seeing who you are, than really it is about coming up with carnal desires and asking God to bless them. What desires has He put in your heart today? God bless you. Have a great day.